All right, you guys, here is the video review finally for Transformers Masterpiece movie series. I think this is MP-M05 Barricade in all of his police car glory. It's been a long week here for me between pledge at work, and I got rear-ended by a hit and run last night, which was fun. I did manage to... They tried to take off, but they did not get very far before I caught up to them. I managed to get pictures of their license plate and their make and model of their car. The police all have that information, so hopefully they will be able to catch them. I'm okay. There wasn't, as much as I hate the fact that there's like a dent in my bumper now, like it didn't smash in my bumper, like it's minor damage. It's more annoying than anything else, especially since they ran. You know, if they just pulled over and talked to me, it probably wouldn't even have been a thing, but whatever. So kind of apropos now that today... Masterpiece Barricade arrived. So we have a police car here. And he's a rolly police car. No trim on the wheels, although I think that may be accurate to the movie. I don't think he had bright chrome wheels. You can kind of see some robot bits on the underside, but not super bad. But he's got a nice heft to him and a nice little police car. He's got the To Punish and Enslave and the Decepticon logo and the Emergency 911 and all the little detailing. He even has a 14027E Oklahoma State license plate, the Celine logo on the back, 643, all that good stuff, the little enhanced bumper up here. Fun little cop car. Like I said, I don't know why I've been into cars lately, but I got a little Lego Speed Champions set the other day. I've used my birthday money and picked that up. But whatever. So here he is with Masterpiece movie Bumblebee. Oh, they're fighting. Even though technically these two didn't fight. But whatever, this version of Bumblebee, they look good together. These two will probably be displayed together on the shelf. And in his box, he comes with, on the box it mentions that in robot mode he's got a movable faceplate, which, let me see if I can lift this up a little bit so you can see that a little better, which is really just his mouth opens and closes, but it makes it look like, oh, movable faceplate. You can just rip the lower half of his face off, which is not the case. It is just an opening and closing mouth. And the rotor blade weapon, which here, it's what's kind of nice, it actually has a little stand here. Let me focus on a little better here. For when you're not using it, because these are kind of softer plastic, so if you just lay it down, these could bend and warp. So there's a nice little stand that just kind of sets it down when you don't have it attached. Although I popped it out and I was trying to get it to go back on. It looked like it was right, but I couldn't get it to sit properly in here. And I didn't realize there's a hole there. You got to take one of these thin, spiky bits here in the middle and put it in there, and then it will fit in there just fine. So if you take it out and you don't realize what the problem is putting it back together, that's why. It took me a few minutes. The instructions are no help in how it attaches to the stand. And onto the car itself. The transformation, like, it's only got about 8 million steps, and all but 4 of them are in his arms. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but still. So you basically just have to start kind of from the back end, detaching everything here. I find it helps, actually. This is already popping up. You just lift this up and get this out of the way. That detaches a few things and helps you start getting everything open, because you want to get the rear and side of the car like this. And then the front part detaches here. Away from the window, you gotta lift the windows. Once that's loose, you gotta lift the windows up a little bit, past the windshield. And you can get the windshield up out of the way a little bit too. If it pops up like that, it's not the end of the world. Again, detach it, because these are the part of the legs. And so the whole side of the car here comes out on the hinges here, and those are going to be the arms. So you can see, like, there's a lot of stuff in the arms, and the body itself not super difficult once we get around to it. So the arms, and it's really neat the way they do this. The wheel pops out, and when you're going back to vehicle mode, it takes a little. You have to slide this up a little bit, and it won't sit all the way flat. It'll be a little loose. You do have to click that into place. The wheel still rolls fully, but you want to make sure you click that all the way into place when going back to vehicle mode. But you bring this up, slide it down on this post, and kind of angle it out like that. Then this arm piece comes down and around, rotates around, and now you just got to figure out, the wheels are the same. It's just a matter of lining up these 3 pegs on the back of the hand so they fit in the arm in the wheel grooves to lock that in place. Now the wheel stops spinning, and you can position his fingers however you wish on the hands. This piece right here, now I wish this piece locked out a little bit. It doesn't come all the way up. The instructions make it look like this should come up farther than just this angled bit, but don't try to force it. You'll snap the plastic. I didn't snap the plastic, but just FYI, you will break it if you push too far. But you just bring this up and rotate it kind of up to fill this space. Now, when playing with it, like this side actually seems to catch on part of the door and not collapse, but it's real easy to push that back in. So you want to be careful when you're grabbing his forearm not to fold this panel back down up against the windscreen. Otherwise, you have to kind of untab everything to get it to a position where you can flip it back up. So you can, just like I just did. So fold that up. This police door lifts up and rotates around a bit here and comes down onto his arm like that. The top half of this, let me see if I can't lift this up just a little bit here, get more of him in the frame. This whole piece right here splits right through the middle of the Decepticon symbol, rotates up, and then the headlight cover folds down, and you can have that at any angle you want, but I'm just going to flip it all the way up for purposes of transformation here. And then you take this, once this is all done, this little tab's going to flip up and tab into here. Grab it up here by the elbow, because if you grab it right here, you're going to push that panel in, and then take those tabs and tab the whole thing together up there, and there you've got his arm, or at least one of them. And it's the same thing on this side. Now, if you want to, I'll wait. I don't want to. I was going to try to not have to retransform the arm. Basically, you kind of half transform the arms back into vehicle mode to attach the little whirly weapon. But we'll do that. We'll just do that when we get to it. So flip this bound and around onto the arm. You can see here, this side, I can push on that a little bit, and it has a little bit of resistance because some part of the underside is catching just a little bit on some panel under here. I wish I could do that on this side. I don't know why I can't. I haven't figured that out yet. Gotta bring this up, pull that down, and then bring this whole elbow joint up and tab it onto there. And his arms are basically done at this point. We come here to the top. I'm gonna bring this whole assembly here up, past the windows, and again, this is folded up. You can go ahead and bring that up a little bit. We're going to start pegging this together here in a minute. But once that's all loose, you can fold this whole assembly up and around. The front grill piece here is tabbed on. You fold this down and under, and that starts popping these pieces out. But fold this down and around and under. The whole head assembly, and you can see his jaw is open here. We'll show that off in a minute. This whole assembly, make sure you lift this all the way up and out and around, and then up even further so all of this comes up and out like this, and bring his head up here. The arms, if they are not already, you want to make sure the arms come down, and if they're sitting flat, if this piece right here is rotated up like this, you want to pull them down like that, and then you can take the window pieces and rotate them around on this gray piece. So basically, so this rivet meets up with this rivet here to sit behind his head. Like that. And then this whole assembly, once you've got this once in, it's going to fit through this hole here in the die cast joint to collapse his body together here. And there's little tabs on the back that tab in. And then this whole assembly comes up. The front part of the hood here folds forward and tabs in right back in there, and then the top of the roof of the vehicle comes up. There's a tab here on it. There we go. You can see it right there. It's going to tab in, clip in right up here on this hinge, like that, and then you just kind of push down here on the light bar, and it splits in half. There's a little hair there. And rotate the lights out and around like that. And his top half is coming together now. And then the legs, you want to split them at the hips straight out and then bring them down. There's some pointy bits here that you can position however you want. I like to flip them up so that it looks like he's got spiky hips. But if you just want to angle them out, give them some detail there. You can leave them flat against the leg as well. I'm not entirely sure. They don't really form any part of the vehicle, so I'm assuming since there's a hinge there, you want to flip them out to give them some of that shards of metal look that a lot of the early Bayformers had, or actually even later Bayformers, but whatever. Up to you how those go. The instructions don't really specifically mention them. I think they show them sitting flat against the leg. And then, and once that's done, you take this police bumper, rotate it this way, and then slide it up. There's a slot here on the back of the leg, and it's going to go right in there, just like that. And then fold it in half, and it tabs in just like that. Same over here. And then fold this bumper down. Bring the feet down and flip out his toe spikes. And then these bumper pieces here, once you've detached the main the kind of barrier piece on the front, these bumper pieces angle, and you can angle those to your liking. You can actually get them pretty far down. I don't know that you need to rotate them quite that far. I like to have them just angled so this silver piece is kind of sitting roughly in front of the headlights. But it's entirely up to you how you want to angle those pieces, how much you want to angle those pieces. And then just position him so he stands. And there he is. He's a little short and stocky. I feel like you're just not getting enough light on him to really show him off. When you add enough light to really show off the detail, the blue pops a lot more here under the lights. Like on the packaging, it looks like the blue is a really bright, vibrant blue, and the silver is a really bright, vibrant silver. And under natural lighting, it's all the detail is still there, but it's not quite as bright blue and bright silver as it looks on the packaging. Here, it looks a bit like that because I've just amped up the light allowance just to show off some of the details. But he looks really nice under natural lighting. Like with the blue is there, it's kind of muted, but it gives him some definition. And I don't know when I kind of started to dig some of the early Bayformers designs, but I really like this guy. He's creepy. I love his long arms and his spiky fingers, and there's just a lot to really enjoy on this figure. His heft, I love his vehicle mode. It's a fun transformation, and just all around pretty decently fun. And it's weird to see. It's neat to see such a kind of while humanoid, unconventional design fold out of that regular looking car. So he's got the head joint here. It's on a ball joint. He can look up, not really down so much because of his giant beardy chin. He does have that opening mouth that does not require you to actually rip his lower face off. It's just an opening. Basically, his goatee opens like an opening mouth. He's got ratcheting joints at the shoulders, and you can bring him up a little bit behind here. And again, this side manages to stop right about there where it looks natural. This one will come all the way back up to its original position. I don't know what's stopping it on this side and not on this side, but there's that inner joint. But mostly there's a ratcheting joint there at the shoulder. You got a ratcheting joint up and down at the shoulder. There is a bicep swivel built in, which is kind of nice. Even with all this unconventional stuff going on in the arm and the forearm, you can see I just pushed that panel down. He does have a bicep swivel, a swivel elbow to a little over 90 degrees. Not a full all the way up, but not bad. Really no wrist swivel because of the way he locks in, but he does have his fingers and claws can open very wide or can close up to form a hand, and you can have that hand close up either over here or you can bring the fingertips together over on this side, however you want, really. He does have a waist swivel, which is nice. Ratcheting hips. There is a ratchet there. It's not clicky like the earlier one, but it is there. Then you can hear the clicky ratchet out to the side. There's a thigh swivel. Ratcheting knees. And then a swivel here at the ankle front to back. There is an ankle tilt. No toe articulation. The foot is all one piece, it looks like, aside from this little toe spike. Quick size comparison. Here he is with Masterpiece Bumblebee, who does stand a little taller, but they look great together. Like, I'm going to display them together on the shelf. One, because they're kind of what passes for arch rivals in that first movie, and they just look really good together, both in robot mode and in vehicle mode. So whatever mode they're in, they're going to be displayed together. And then just for the sake of it, let me bring in Optimus here. I've got him over here on the table. Here's a movie masterpiece Optimus. Just to get a shot of all three of them together. And just real quick, just to show you this studio series, here he is with the Bumblebee. He actually fought, just to give you an idea of how big he is compared to them. Maybe a little brighter. Now he does, like I said, I did mention the weapon earlier, and it can attach to either arm. I'm going to do this one that's closer to the camera since I've already flattened this panel, and I need to take it apart anyway. So basically you want to flip this out, get this out of the way, to attach the arm down, mostly just because you need some clearance to move around in here. Pull this down, to transform the hand basically back into where it goes for vehicle mode. Fold the hand up, rotate it around, tuck it back up here, fold the wheel, detach it, lift it up, snap it back into place. Then you can fold this police panel back down, fold it back up into the arm, and inside the forearm here, let me see if I can get it, there's a little slot. You can see, there you go, you can see it right there. There's a tab, and there's one on either side. So you can put it on this side as well. But once you detach it from the stand, and then this little tab piece right here just tabs inside the forearm. It's not a super secure connection. It'd be nice if, like, after tabbing this in, that it could, some other piece could maybe flip out and lock in, although to keep it spinning, I see why they didn't do it. Although spinning it too much does cause it to pop out. A little floor polish on that tab would probably make it hold a little better. It's just a shame there's not some better way to lock that in place initially. But for just a display or whatever, if you wanted to give him to have that weapon, it looks pretty menacing, like he's going to harvest some wheat. Although, like I said, you can give it a spin, but if you wiggle it too much, if you start smacking it too much, it is going to pop out fairly easily. So yeah, he's cool. He's fun. Like I said, I like him a little more than I was expecting to. I'm glad that the blue is not as, under normal lighting, I'm glad the blue is not as vibrant as the packaging makes it look. Because like when I first saw it, I'm like, did he have that blue in the movie? And he probably did. I mean, I'm sure they're trying to make these accurate, so I'm sure they went off some of the character models. But he didn't look that bright in the movie. And while it does add some detailing, he doesn't look that bright under normal lighting. He actually looks very reminiscent of the film. So he's pretty cool. But there is movie masterpiece, MP-M05 Barricade.